Good morning, class. Today we are going to be using what we have learned in the previous 4 lessons using word problems. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read the word problem. The deepest part of the Grand Canyon is about 1 1/6 miles deep. The deepest part of the ocean is located in the Mariana Trench. The deepest part of the ocean is almost 6 times as deep as the deepest part of the Grand Canyon. About how deep is the deepest part of the ocean? Yes, this is a long problem, but I know that because it says times, I'm going to multiply. So off to the corner, I'm going to write it's a one-step problem, and I'm going to multiply. So now I'm going to write my equation. I have 6 times 1 1/6. I'm going to take a look at my fraction. I'm going to realize it is a mixed number, so there's 4 things I need to do. Step 1, multiply my fractions. So 6 times 1/6 equals 6 6. So my step 2 is going to be rename that. I know that 6 6 is 1 whole, so I'm just going to circle it. Step 3 is to do my whole numbers. I have 6, and I'm going to multiply by 1. 6 times 1 is 6, and then I'm going to add in that whole from part 2. So I now have 7. Step 4 is to put it all together. So I have 7 miles deep because I want to add my label. I am going to reread the question just to make sure I have it. About how deep is the deepest part of the ocean? Did I answer the question? Yet, I'm done. Your turn. Let's see how you did. Mountains are often measured by the distance they rise above sea level. Mount Washington rises more than 1 1/10 mile above sea level. Mount Everest rises about 5 times as high. About how many miles above sea level does Mount Everest rise? Well, I know that because it says times, this is a multiplication problem. So, one step, and it's to multiply. I have 5 times 1 1/10. This is a mixed number, so I am going to solve it in 4 parts. Part 1 is to multiply my fraction. 5 times 1/10. That equals 5/10 because all I have to do is multiply my whole number by the numerator. Step 2 is to rename or simplify. 5/10. I do not need to rename it, but I can simplify by 5 because 5 is the greatest common factor. I get 1/2. Step 3 is to multiply my whole. I have 5 times 1, that equals 5. I do not have any circles or whole numbers in step 2, so I do not need to add anything. So my last thing is to put it together. I have 5, 1/2, and I need to add my label. So miles above sea level. I hope your handwriting is much better than mine. Your turn. Number 3, a certain tree was 5 1/3 feet tall when it was first planted. A few years later, the tree is 4 times as tall as it was when it was first planted. How much has the tree grown since it was first planted? Number 4, Amelia is training for a triathlon. She swims 3/5 mile. Then she runs about 6 times further than she swims. About how far does Amelia run?